Hey everyone, Colleen Patrick-Goudreau here. I'm having my morning tea. I just realized that I just made some tea, and the worst thing that could happen is my tea gets cold while I'm making this video, because tea is sacred to me. I hope you're doing super well. I'm recording this during the coronavirus, and I wanted to let you know about the newest podcast episode that I released just the other day, and it is Essentials for a Well-Stocked Kitchen. I would like to think that I've been preparing you for this day for years with my different books. If I can't display my books in the background, then what's left? So the joy of vegan baking has been a staple in many people's homes for many years, and I'm really grateful for that. I have the vegan table and Color Me Vegan, but I don't have them displayed because I don't have any copies here. But of course, you can find those in stores anywhere, and Vegan's Daily Companion and the new book, The Joyful Vegan, and 30-Day Vegan Challenge. So I have been working for years to guide people to become vegan, to eat healthfully, to eat compassionately, through my cookbooks, through my cooking classes that I taught for years and years, and through the videos that I do and the podcast, etc. So I would like to think that everything that I've been putting out there for the last 20 years is something that you can use now, and I believe that, and I'm really grateful for that. And I love hearing from so many of you who share your videos of making my recipes in your home. There's nothing it just means so much to me. So the newest episode is just more of what you've probably been hearing from me for years, but it's condensed into one episode. And it's everything you need for stocking a kitchen, a pantry, for any time of the year, but especially during a time when things feel uncertain, things feel scary, the future is unknown, or at least the immediate future is unknown, and many people are in lockdown in their homes. And so we are seeing an increase in the number of people cooking and baking at home, which is fantastic. And we're also seeing people who are looking to make more healthful meals. I won't lie, this is also a time we're seeing an increase in meat consumption. And I don't know if it's because restaurants are closed all around the world, and so people are compensating for that and buying meat for home more than usual. And also I think people tend to look toward things that are familiar during a crisis like this. And so my hope is that what other foods would be comforting for you would be those not based on animal products. And this is an opportunity and a time to try some new things, to feel secure, obviously, and to not feel like you're doing so many new things. But look, we are thrown into this new experience we've never had before. So this is an opportunity to learn, as always, and lessons and gifts, as I always say. Hang on. Oh my God, I love tea so much. So the episode talks about what to keep in your pantry, so dry goods. And I know a lot of people have been cooking, from scratch for a long time. I recommend lots of different kinds of beans, lentils. I do talk about the pressure cooker a lot. I always emphasize that you don't have to go buy special appliances to eat healthfully and compassionately. However, there are some small appliances that really do make a difference. And I can say for sure that the pressure cooker changed everything for me. And I'm someone who cooks from scratch all the time, and that really changed everything for me. Because as much as I really encourage people to still soak their beans and cook beans on the stove, the truth is being able to do it in the pressure cooker in under an hour, in like 30 minutes, if you don't soak the beans, and even less than that if you do soak the beans, is pretty awesome. I also talk about just grains to have, and herbs and spices to have. I talk about things like different flours to make your own bread. You do not have to do a yeasted bread if you don't want to. I've been doing a lot of videos of drop biscuits and flour tortillas, corn tortillas, so having masa flour if you can. A lot of these things can be bought online. I realize that people are really panicking in terms of food and stocking up, so I don't want this episode to be a misinterpretation where people think that I'm saying go stock up, for a year and go into a bunker. I don't think we're at that place at all, and there is not a shortage of food. We're not at the times when we can look back on history that most of us have not lived through, to be honest. During wartime, we're not in that time. There's not a shortage of food. So when I'm talking about stocking up, I'm talking about doing it in a reasonable way, and in a way that once this is passed, and it will pass, this will be over, this will end, and hopefully we'll be stronger for it and have learned a lot through it. And one of the things I would love to see, in my hope for everyone, is that they take some new lessons, they take this opportunity to learn some new lessons, to instill some new habits in their lives, to try some things they wouldn't otherwise try. I've been talking for years, and I talk about it in this episode, that I think we tend to sabotage ourselves when we say that we want to do things and eat more healthfully and eat more compassionately and stop eating animal products. We sabotage ourselves and we start to make excuses. And the excuses we make are around not having time and not having the skills and not having the tools. We have the time, we have the skills, and we have the tools, not the schools. That's tools and skills combined. Think on that. The point is, I try to empower you to know that you do have the opportunity and the time and the skills to just make a few changes. It doesn't have to be dramatic. So listen to the episode at Food for Thought. Let me know what you think. And then also toward the end of the episode, after I've gone through pantry, cupboards, refrigerator, freezer, things to have in all those different places, I do talk about some higher principles. And I just named one of them, which is, I think we do have the time to cook. We just don't make the time. And now is certainly an opportunity to take the time we have and not just sit and scroll through social media and not just obsess over the news. Certainly be informed, but being informed doesn't mean that you're just consumed by bad news. So step away from the screen, step away from me right now, and go chop some vegetables. When I woke up this morning, I think I'm going to do an episode on what it's like to keep a routine. And even though, again, this will end, these are principles you can apply to your lives much later on at any time. But I have a very regular routine. I always have. I've been working from home for over 15 years, and this is the life that I sought to have. I wanted to work from home because it's just what I prefer. And I just tend to have self-discipline. I always have. I have other issues. I have other problems, but I don't have, self-discipline is not a problem. And so today I woke up, I worked out, I read, I showered, and I went into the kitchen and I chopped up some lettuce, chopped up some carrots, chopped up some onions, put them in a bowl. They're all ready for lunchtime for my husband and I. I took out some sweet potatoes. I want those right out of the convection oven as soon as they're done. So I'm going to put those in a little while so that they're nice and delicious and crispy on the outside and soft on the inside when it's time for lunch. And then I also made some soy milk because I'm thinking ahead to the dinner that I'm going to make. And I already know what I'm going to make. I'm going to make some polenta. I've already got some kale and some broccolini in the refrigerator, so I'm going to put those in the air fryer. You can roast them if you don't have an air fryer. And then I'm going to make polenta. I'm actually going to do a live video, I think, to show you how to do it. So just thinking in advance enabled me to go like, oh, okay, I got to make this soy milk. So let me do that. And that doesn't take any time. I want to have lunch and I want to have a good, healthy lunch. I still want to work before then. So let me prepare what I need for lunch. Does that make sense? So I talk about some higher principles, making the time, always deciding what to have for dinner the day before, or at least by breakfast time, knowing what you're going to have for dinner time. Making more than you need if you're one person, cooking for two, if you're two people, cooking for four, and so on. You shouldn't, people complain about not having time and they complain about chopping vegetables. You shouldn't chop vegetables for just one meal. You should always be thinking ahead. If you're chopping an onion for a recipe, chop 2 onions and put the second one in the refrigerator. If you're making a soup, double it so that you have some left over for the next day. All of those principles you'll find in the new Food for Thought episode called Essentials for a Well-Stocked Kitchen. And you can find those also in the 30-Day Vegan Challenge. I mean, there are chapters in here. I'm going to knock everything down now. Ooh. There are chapters in here specifically there's a chapter called Making the Time to Cook. There's a chapter called cutting out the middle cow and getting your calcium directly from the source, eating out and speaking up. Obviously, that's not relevant right now, but it will be. It will be soon. And I have my favorite kitchen tools in here. So there's lots of resources that I've been providing for a long time. And I just hope you dust them off, get them off your shelves, grab yourself a copy. This is a time to support authors. buy books. They're a wonderful way to pass the time and learn from. So I'm really grateful to be part of your journey, and I appreciate all of the reinforcement I get from you directly in terms of support through Patreon, but also just the reinforcement I get when you tell me that what I'm giving you is helping you. That's why I'm doing this, and I'm really grateful for that. So check out the new Food for Thought podcast. It's called Essentials for a Well-Stocked Kitchen. Check out the 30-Day Vegan Challenge. Share it with others. Let me know what else I can do. Make sure you're following me on Instagram and Facebook. That's where I'm doing a lot of cooking demos and sharing a lot of really simple videos. I have lots of plans to show you a lot more, and it's not going to stop. So you can visit me over at ColleenPatrick-Goudreau.com. You can also go check out Joyful Vegan and head over to my main site. From there, thank you for your support. Thank you for everything you're doing to help create a compassionate world and inspiring others to live mindfully and thoughtfully. So for the animals, this is Colleen Patrick-Goudreau. Thank you so much for watching. Be well, be safe, be healthy, and be happy.